All right, we are back. Mike and Jerry once again. September 29th, Friday. Uh, Episode 12. It's been a long hiatus. We had some busy summers, vacations, and just regular busyness that kept us from recording one sooner. But here we are. Jerry, how are you?
I'm great. You know, yeah, we've been really busy and working and vacationing, and but people love these podcasts. Of course, Oleg, who's the president of my fan club, he
Yes.
loves them, of course. But no, I think a lot of people like them, and about the time I think that no one, we don't need another podcast. I see one that's new and fresh that I'm like, oh, that's a really good addition. So I think this one has a big edge and advantage because we're friends and worked together for a while, and we have fun, and it's just two different people. Spaces is different, the podcasts are different, this is different, and I was on one yesterday that was absolutely amazing. It was like 10 people grilling me and asking me questions. And they were asking me rude questions too, questions that not rude, but kind of like, why do you do this? And I had to really be on my game to justify it. So yeah, it's good to get back and do our little unique thing. But what's
I,
on your agenda for today?
yeah, to piggyback off that, I've been in the spring. The band Blink 182 got back together. Do you know who they are?
No, but I saw these ridiculous tweets from you about I'm glad to be alive. I can live now. Life is great. All this silliness about some stupid band. What is this band? Do I need to listen to them? Are they as good as
No. I
Stick
mean,
Figure?
I don't think you'd really like it too much. It Blink 182 started in the 90s, and they're a punk band, punk rock band. And
Okay.
then it became they got more catchy. They became a really good punk band. And when you become really good and catchy, then you're starting to get labeled as like pop punk. So the hardcore punk people at the time in the like 70s, 80s, 90s, where you listen to it, you know exactly what it is. It's very fast paced, like high energy, and it's not really like great music, to be honest with you. It's just like a lot of angst, a lot of yelling, and just like verbal diarrhea, and it's just not catchy, right? It doesn't get to the mainstream because not a lot of people like it. It's like for a specific group, but they were really good, and more and more people outside of punk started to like them. So naturally, the punk hardcore people were like, these guys, they sold out. I don't know, they're not punk, they're not like us. Um, so I started to, I started to think about that, and I started to think, well, one, I had, since the band got back together and they're doing a new album now, I saw them at the Barclays Center in the spring, and it was just like amazing. I'm brought right back to 1999 when I'm 15 years old, and it's just, oh, this is great, like so much fun. And Marissa's there with me, and she knows them, but she doesn't. It doesn't hit her the same way. And I'm like, this is just amazing. Like I feel like a kid again. This is awesome. And she doesn't get it, but so then I started to, go down the rabbit hole of like listening to a lot of interviews with these guys, and there was a good documentary on one of the lead guitarists, Tom DeLonge. He had a documentary called The Pursuit of Tone, and it was just him being a musician, like how he came to write these songs, make up these riffs, and I don't know anything about that stuff, and it's just like, wow, that's so fun. I'm more, coming from sports where I need an enemy to to like salivate over and kill type of thing. Like I can't just sit there in my art and do my thing. I need someone to injure and hurt and beat. Uh, I don't um, I
You
don't
sound
know,
like me. You sound like me talking about managed futures CTAs.
Okay, so that's where I'm going, right? This is where I'm going. So on one side we have this art where we're just doing our thing. We don't this isn't, we're not taking money from some other people. We're just kind of doing our thing in the markets. And but on the other side, it's like, no, wait, fuck you, man. You know, I'm here to, pick a fight a bit. Again,
Sure.
politely, but pick a
Yeah.
fight
Hopefully.
and let's
Yeah.
argue. Let's have our take. And you know, the, but also it's not really like I would say like a competition all the time. It's you want to call us punk, you want to call us pop punk, fine. You fucking define it however you want. But this isn't that's not my business. I'm here doing my thing, you're doing your thing, whatever you want to call us, and create some rift, create some like marketing edge for yourself to say, see, they're not that, we're that. Come with us. Um, just start thinking about all these types of things. And uh, yeah, I think I watched a Tom Brady interview too, where he said that same too, where he's like, I need an enemy. I'm like, yes, that's it. I need an enemy. Um, and right or wrong, which is how he's wired, how I'm wired, and then how some of these musicians are just more of like they're just more free and they're more just doing their thing and they're not really in this competitive arena. They're just kind of making good songs. And so on one side, I think that's us too, where we're just trying to trade well, create a product for us that we love, and then we're naturally going to find people. People are going to find us that love it too and want to come to the show. But then on the other side, we have people that are saying that we suck or we're idiots, and they're not doing it the intellectual, smarter way. Then I'll say, all right, fucker, let's go. Let's fight. So that's my rant to start. Sorry.
Yeah, no, no, I think that's great. Um, I know it's just kind of how we're wired. And we're both accountants too. You would think we wouldn't have this level of aggression. But I think for me, it's more like I should never have been an accountant. That's the problem. Not that I'm an accountant and
Same.
I have, yeah, I should never have been an accountant. And I realized that, irrespective of the idea that I realized also that I should definitely be a trader because that was what I wanted to do. But yeah, no, it's all part of being who we are. And I feel like I turn off so many people by just being myself, and I don't want to be myself. I want to be a much better, nicer person. Um, but I noticed that I was like at the same time yesterday, I was trying to be sort of controversial and talk about trend following and how we do it and what I think is correct and not correct. I was really laughing a lot too, because people were saying things that were making me laugh, or I knew I had a question I had to answer that no one was going to really like. And so my reaction was to start laughing. Like, I got my answer. You're not going to like it. I've been in this situation a million times, and here goes another one, and no one's going to say, oh man, what a great answer. Oh, that's just absolutely perfect. That doesn't happen for me, unfortunately.
I think that's on top. Aside from the business stuff, it- you know, I think as you age, and now my son's going to be 16 months soon, and just seeing how he is, and now being around a lot of other kids his age, toddlers, I guess, how they are just from one feeling to the next. They do not care. They are not bound. They don't remember anything. They're just doing their thing. I I envy that so much, and I'm trying to uh, get back to that more um, because I think when you have the business side where we want to get more people to our show, into our fund, and listening to us, and yada yada yada, but then also the other side where like, no, I need to express myself, what's in there, and I can't sell out on for some tickets, for some extra tickets, for some extra money in my account. Short term stuff, because long term people are going to start to, who are you? You know, what are you? What do you stand for? What? Who are you talking to? You're talking to everybody, and you're not making sense, and you're confusing me. And at one time you were this, and now you're kind of changing just to keep your own relevance and to maintain your own business. And it's like, I don't think that's the way to, one, have peace of mind and calm and like satisfaction in your own mind, in your own life. And I also don't think it's a great long-term business strategy either. I think if you're building stuff for yourself and you're like, hey man, here's what I got. People are like, yeah, I dig it. I'm good. I love that. And it might not be for most of the people out there, but it could be. But you'll get some really hardcore followers, and that's wonderful too. I think that's great. But I don't think a lot of people like that. I think they want to be that pop music. Let's try to get something for everybody. And eventually I think that weighs you down, and that comes back to bite you in the long run. Uh, so I think, yeah, that's what I think. I don't know. It's another rant. I'm not sure if I said the same thing as I did before, but I got a lot of the same feelings going on these days. And uh, so if I'm rambling, I apologize.
Yeah. No, no, no. That's good. That's good stuff. I do a lot of rambling. Being on spaces is so much pressure to, and it just comes as sort of common sense to uh, have the majority of people are, it's just to agree with you and to appeal to a broad group of people, and seeking out a small little niche of people, of true believers, is just not like something I would hope that would have ended up being the case for me, even though that's sort of the case. But you would just think that the whole marketing aspect is how do we appeal to everyone? Oh, I know how. Crisis Alpha. We're on this planet as CTAs to listen to our masters of the 60-40 or stocks only and how we fit in. Okay, shut up and I'll give you 5 or 10% and screw up your program in order to fit in better when I need you. I don't need you. I don't like you. I don't need you. But every now and then when we have a big drawdown, okay, if you can add something, I'll give you 5 or 10%, which makes no sense mathematically. And but don't trade too many stocks. Don't trade shorter term. Whatever you have to do, whether it's good for you or bad for you, you're here to serve me, the traditional portfolio, and you can have a big business with billions of dollars under management, and you dare not ever disagree with that or have your own truth that you're going to speak that this is suboptimal. Or you can have a couple $100 million under management doing trend following. And so it doesn't make a lot of sense to do it that way, the couple $100 million. But I think that's the fate now. But it's going to change, but probably not anytime soon. But we're going to be proved right, but long after I'm gone. Because I can't have it both ways. I'm right, and I'm going to reap the bounty of all the things that I've been. No, I'm not. I have no illusion of that. You might.
It's possible,
It's possible.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
I mean, Andrew raised $1 billion last year because he had
Sure.
a ETF um, uh, replicated an index, and he overperformed, and the index had a great year, plus 20, 30. So, yeah, anything can happen. You never know. And I think
Yeah,
but
I
that's the hope of every ETF, that you wallow for many, many years with a little bit of money under management, and all of a sudden people get greedy and they rush through the front door and try to give you all this money because they're bad investors who stumbled onto a good investment.
sure. I think that's hard too. In this game, you could do as you could do as good of a job as you can, but there's still going to be a lot of people who are just people, and their behavior is too strong for your several phone calls or several interactions to change. Say, hey, you shouldn't do this because you're gonna make a mistake, and they just can't help themselves and they got to do it. And uh, again, but it's like doing the best you can. I think is is good enough. That's a noble effort. Do the best you can, so you can minimize this chasing. If that's what happened, which I think it did a lot to at least Andrew's fund, where a lot of people got in late, most likely, and then people were bailing at the first sign of trouble, like, see, this thing sucks. Um, and I think a lot of people did that with ARK, the ARK investment, Kathy Wood's fund, and that was just an easy one to kind of pay attention to because it was so popular during COVID. A lot of those stocks were roaring. People got to the party late, and I think on balance they've raised X amount of money. I'll say the money that has come into the fund versus the money that they've returned to the investors is negative. They've lost more money. They've returned a net. I'm not sure where it is now, but I know at one point that was the case, that they on balance lost money for all their investments. But it was so popular, people were still talking about it, coming in, talking about Kathy Wood and how she's so great. It's like they've lost money. Uh, they've lost money. I don't think that's the point of this game, but that's just like the power of some of uh, these short-term performance runs that make you so popular, and then you have some staying power for a while, and then they're playing for the rebound, and great. But again, still, if your long-term process sucks, you're fucked. You're eventually, the party's over for you, and you're just
Yeah.
a waiting game. So
It's one of the ways to really get to have success in this business is to get a cult following, and certainly buy and hold has a cult following. Indexing, low fees, Buffett,
all right.
um, the Bogle primarily, Bogle, Buffett,
Mm-hmm.
Value. You get this cult following. You get millions of people going out to Omaha, and then you get Kathy Wood, same thing, cult following, and yet no good. That's a bad, but it's still the human instinct, and sometimes it's going to work out, sometimes it's not. In trend following, I want to build this cult following for the trend following, classic trend, um, but it's kind of slow. It hasn't caught on quite yet. Um, Primarily because no one classically trend follows except you and me, Moritz, Richard, and Mulvaney.
Right.
So Niels,
And we just
Niels
we just,
keep people keep Niels and people keep talking about. I don't see it in the data. I haven't done any research anyways, but I don't see it in the data. I don't see any differences. Well, 99% of the numbers reported are CTAs who vol manage and correlation manage and don't let profits run fully. So there's nothing to compare it to. How else can Andrew replicate 20 CTAs that trade hundreds of markets with 14 markets if they don't cut profits short, and if you get a trade going too crazy, a big huge outlier, they scale it back so it doesn't become an outlier.
right.
The euro and the yen, start looking more like all the other currencies that are having nice trends but nothing spectacular. I mean, we made a lot of money in 2021. I think you and I both, corn, wheat, and beans, but bean oil and canola and rapeseed had much bigger moves than palm oil.
Yes.
They're all highly correlated. Um, but now, if you are a typical managed futures CTA, you start reducing those positions in the ones that are going up too much. They're too volatile. You got to cut them back. Maybe also due to correlation. So you eliminate. I remember reading an article from Cantab many years ago about, they mentioned this concept of outliers or a problem. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I didn't even know when I was stepping in. And then they're trend followers. I hear all the time, man. I mean, people are going to figure this out, but I hear all the time, all of this stuff about how people trade, how managed future CTAs trade, and all the things that they do that is not letting profits run, not cutting profits short, not trend following everything, or not making trend following, putting it on a pedestal like I try to do, making excuses for it. And then the next thing they'll say is, I love trend following. I love it. You got a couple girlfriends on the side too. I'm not sure that's going to work for your true love if you have these other relationships going. Oh, I love trend following. Oh, there was one guy that Niels interviewed, and every one of these people that he interviewed, except me, they were all vol managing, correlation managing, and dynamic position sizing. The heart of trend following ripped out. Right?
Yes.
And this one guy, I forgot who it was. It was Doug Greenig. No, it wasn't Florin Court. It was another one. I can't think of the name of the firm. But he basically said his whole goal in life, like 10 years ago, he decided, my whole mantra, my whole catchphrase is, I'm going to be the best trend follower possible. And I was thinking, yeah, you might want to start just with doing actual trend following.
I think like the vol management, all the massaging of the rules, the having rules for rules, layered. One, I think it's, to make a metaphor, it's like auto tune. Like they're really not good singers, but you use some auto tune, it kind of masks. You're trying to mask something they don't like about their singing. It's like, okay, yeah, but we need the real thing. We need, I don't know who a real good singer is offhand. The Whitney Houstons and things like that, where they can really belt it out and great. Like we remember that stuff, and they're great singers and great, but all this using tech to just massage it out, stuff you don't like. Again, I don't think it's going to. I don't see it working well in the long run. They're gonna fuck up somewhere,
Oh,
and
definitely.
I think
That's
with
what we.
rules for rules, and we can maybe pivot to what our the original topic we were thinking about talking about today. Having clarity, having look at the markets, look into the markets for clarity. One thing in our mind, like we know what we're doing every day. We don't have rules for rules. We've kind of constrained ourselves with minimal rules, but with minimal rules, it's very liberating. It's very, okay, I know what we're doing. We're not walking in confused every day, second guessing these rules. We're not, and I think when you have more rules, there's more room to bend them and change them.
Oh,
And
that's one of your things, is that when it's on the table, that nothing is off the table. You can be counter trend. You can have lots of parameters, vol management, correlation management, portfolio overlay, risk management overlay. The the systematic trades get overwhelmed by the non-system trades, the money management trades. Then the sky's the limit. Then if you have a problem, if you're having a period of performance that you're unhappy with, you know what to do. Crank up the computer. For us,
Right.
it's like, oh crap, I got chopped up and I need to figure out, is my stop loss too close to the market? Or um, I got whipsawed out. Is my trailing stop too close to the market? I gave back too much profit. So we've really limited the problem and the opportunity set to something that's way manageable. And usually
Yeah.
the conclusion is it's not a, see, this is another big, huge edge we have. And I mention this all the time. And that is we don't even attempt or care. We don't, we can't evaluate how well our process works based upon a small group of trades, even the ones that are the most important trades of all time, and those are the current ones. And we're always just looking out over the last 10 or 20 years and the next 10 or 20 years and what's going to work best over all those years. It's a huge edge to have limited the problem down to something that you can actually handle. And as far as sleeping at night, I know you've had trouble doing that, but it's not because of the markets. It's been your son
Yeah.
staying up. But yeah, we've organized this incredibly complex situation, which is investing into something that's sort of manageable, and just realize what's impossible. You can't take care of every day, every week, every month. You mentioned that today's a bad day for trend. We've been making money all month. Now we're going to have a losing month, maybe. Such is life. I think that that's not the way everyone approaches it. Stop this from happening. Call it money management, call it risk management, and call it whatever you want to call it. Just stop these trades from going against us.
Yeah. And I think that's also they might have bad clients. A lot of those funds, a lot of people that think like that are having meetings about that. Oh, we have to prevent this from happening. We can't allow this to happen. We can't go all month, can't go all quarter having a positive quarter and then lose it in the last couple days. Like that's unacceptable. Can't have that.
That's right.
All right, well, you know, you're trying to. I know what you're trying to do. I don't like it either, but just you got to be careful about overlaying uh, your own issues onto the markets, and uh, eventually you're going to be incongruent. You're going to collide with what the market's doing and what you want. And I don't think, again, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm comfortable saying, all right, well, you got me today, but it's within reason, so I'm good. You know,
I'm not
long.
comfortable. I'm not comfortable with what this system is doing now, today, this quarter. The system that I've back tested that has been the top performing system over the past 30, 40 years, and I have every reason to believe it's going to be a top performer over the next 10 or 20 years, but I'm uncomfortable today. So I'm going to override today or add something to it to scratch today's itch. It's just really, really unfortunate. And are they bad clients? Were they bad clients when they came? They were sucked into, you can have your trend following and eat your low vol too. Okay, they bought into that crap, but they become worse clients because of the managed futures CTA. They're way worse now because they've experienced this, and they want more of it, and they continue to be told you can have it. So I think that they may have been kind of bad clients when they got there, but they've done nothing. If anything, they've just gotten worse and bought into this expectation that there's no downside to overriding a systematic approach with rules, robust rules that are only robust to the degree that they have fewer and fewer rules and parameters.
Right. They don't. They have
Ah.
rules for rules for rules. It's like
That's right.
rules cubed. Rules cubed.
Well, you know what's one thing that's kind of interesting. Oh God, I think we talked about this, but one thing that's really interesting is when we listen. I love Harold. I mean, I love Harold. He's a lovable guy, and I like him. I can just tell he's a type of person I want to hang out with, and I think he's super solid. I've loved TransTrend for 20 years when I first heard about them. For some reason, I just, others, I'm like, ugh. TransTrend, really liked them. It's just some others. But he had, on his recent writing, he admitted, and it's and underline admitted because it's not anything new, really. I mean, I could have surmised this, that the vast majority of their trades have nothing to do with trend. It's not trend signals. The
Yeah.
vast majority of trades are something else. Vol management, correlation management, and that also there is another thing that we're all missing that they pick up on, and it's called the liquidity premium. And the liquidity premium, the way he explained it, it's on the website, and I tweeted it, is when let's say you're long cocoa, and
Okay.
cocoa, and you made all this money, and cocoa is getting crushed probably because of vol management. Cocoa probably sold off this week because of volatility management from other CTAs. That at this, I didn't understand how you reconcile this, but obviously they're vol managing to some degree. But also the liquidity premium is that they take advantage of is they will come in and buy because the fills of buying on those sell-off days are much better than the fills of having to get out. You're going to get a lot of slippage. And they can take advantage of a lot of traders selling and when the market's down a lot. So they step in and buy for this liquidity premium. So I should celebrate this and just use it and say thankfully for more evidence, more examples of how managed futures CTAs is not all about trend following. And this is a business opportunity for us. Don't bemoan it. Make fun of them and draw these distinctions, and continue to tell people if you want diversification, long and short, one entry, one exit, and a stop loss, letting profits run, taking small losses. It still works, and we're doing it. And thank God not everyone's doing it. So I have a contradictory message. Like, why are you doing it? But I'm kind of thinking, yeah, keep doing it though. Mike and I and Rich and Moritz and Mulvaney, we got the other stuff covered. Leave it to us, and hopefully we can continue to build up our business and get more assets and have more people be attracted to this classic approach.
Yes. It's it's what we like. It's we've built this for us. I mean, still remember in 2008, having the aha about about this new direction that I wanted to go in my life, and like I'm going to I'm going to bring this trend following thinking, this trend following approach to the markets to people in my life because I get it now. I understand, and this is for me. I can do this. I can do it. I agree, and I think it's going to win long run. I think this is the better way to go about it. What a better way to go about investing and approaching the markets in general. So, it just starts from there. It's not how can I sell something to a lot of people and give them what they want. That I think eventually that happens because when you go about it our way, you make something for yourself, try to make it the best you can, and put it out there and talk about it. People are like, "Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, good point, Jerry. All right, what do you got? What are you selling? Yeah. Oh, you're fun. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in that too. I'm in. Let's go. I'm on board with you. Beautiful. Not let's give you what you want. I know what you want. You want something that's unreasonable. You want something that isn't going to be viable for the long run because you're all acting on your feelings, Mr. Client, Mrs. Client, and you haven't done the work here. We have. I'm going to tell you why what you want isn't really good. Um, but I'm going to try to be the adult in the room and say, I'm comfortable not having your business. I make, I would, that which directly affects me and my family. We make less money because I'm pushing you away. This isn't going to work out. Okay, great. Like that, that again, that is very hard for people on our side of the table to do. Like, no, 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 no. Try to get everyone in. You know what? Make another fund with a different strategy, and give it and sell it to them. Like everything for everyone. And that's one thing also too that is very worrying to me when I see a trend follower or really just a firm in general where they have so many different conflicting ideological products. It's like, how the fuck can you look at the markets all these different ways and execute them properly? I don't think you can. I don't. You can't have a index long only fund with a trend following fund with a, I don't even know what, a fundamental long short equity where you're stock picking. It's like, you know, you're you're you tipped your hand. You don't believe in anything. You're just giving people what they want, and you're just in business to make money for yourselves, and that's not really inspiring, and that's not really going to last. I don't care what you say, and I don't care how good your business is right now. I just don't see it because again, eventually you're going to fuck up, and your ideological views and approach to the markets are going to conflict with each other. Um, and which one are you going to choose to go with? Which one are you going to put priority on? Which product, which fund? And it's just I just think we see a lot of that now. A lot of copying, a lot of like money raising is the focus, not let's do our best work and just put it out there. You know.
Yeah, that's right. When you see people being very successful, being concentrated with their strategy, whether it's value, growth, Buffett, firms that have done the same thing over, they have a way of doing things. They're not going to deviate from it. A lot of famous people I read about all the time, famous funds that this is what they believe in, and people love that and they respect it. And then it's just that people have a tendency not to, in order to preserve their AUM and preserve the incentive fee or their management fee and to keep the AUM high, that are willing to, CTAs are just willing to do whatever it takes to do non-trend, non-CTA stuff, momentum, and create new products or add in new strategies. And no other strategy, core hedge fund strategy that is well respected, that has tons of people in the category, wakes up one day and says, oh, with long short, I need to add something else that's going to help me during those bad periods. CTAs are the only ones who do that.
Right.
Only ones. Can you imagine private equity saying, let's take some profits off the table because of our Sharpe ratio? I mean,
Get
it's
the
kind of
fuck out of here.
yeah.
No.
I mean, why are you getting? How did you come to this conclusion that you should buy this company? It's cutting edge technology. We've made 100x already. When it goes public, we're going to make 200x. And we really believe in this, and this is how we got to where we are. And look at our track record. We've done this lots of times. It's the same formula. However, in order to improve our Sharpe ratio, we're going to sell a little bit today to book some profit but it's kind of a bad analogy because they don't mark to market. But,
Well, yeah.
but
Okay, yeah.
CTAs do the same thing. There is no evidence ever that adding something to your trend following system that reduces or adds to the position based upon correlation or volatility enhances that trade. And I'll tell you who agrees with me, every CTA out there, because they've never said that. Now, the clients may have thought that's what they said, but they never said that. So I'm saying They do it, but they've never said that all of the non-trend things that they do improves the trade. No, never, never, because it doesn't, and they wouldn't lie. They do say it's not about the trade; it's about the whole portfolio, and it's about the smoothness of that portfolio. Another thing that's kind of unique to CTAs. I know I should not add or subtract from this position, but I'm going to do it suboptimal trade here because the portfolio as a whole will look better, and it looks better, but you have to use inaccurate measuring tools like Sharpe that's basically shouldn't be used for non-normal distribution of trades. But if you have to use Sharpe in order to come to that conclusion.
Right. Yeah. And I think, almost like musicians where they're trying to think about an album. We got to make the album look, sound, present, order like this. Like, no, like think about the song. No, not even that. And then think about the riff. Think about the entry, the tone, the lyrics. Like, really, really focus down on the thing you're working on, and then obviously you put it together into a song or something, and then do it again, and then make another one, and then eventually you get an album. You don't think about the album; it's too big. It's not. There's no focus there. It gets wishy-washy. It gets messy. You don't know what to do. It's overwhelming. Like, and I get what they're trying to do, but I just think that eventually they're not going to, when these opportunities come around, when we get these wacky moves like more orange juice and cocoa and some of these obscure markets and just things that are not obscure markets where who knows, the yuan or the Singapore dollar does its thing, and then the euro and yen and all those big boys that everyone knows aren't doing much, and we do well, but they don't, and it's because they're serving the bigger. It's like, well, we don't, we serve the smaller, and then the bigger works out. We'll start at the bigger.
Exactly. The secret to trading our strategy and the systematic strategy is you do the trades regardless, and you only do those trades regardless, and that is the secret. And sometimes people can say, well, you can't always do the trades regardless. And I would say, true, you need to have your trade level calculation correct. You need to do some other things correct. You need to choose the overall risk budget and leverage budget correct. And then still, you may not ever be able to always put on the next trade in the same way because you're losing too much money and things are happening. And you need to be able to recognize that can happen once a year, once every 5 years or 10 years. But that is really the secret, is to put yourself in that situation with all your, everything you have. Try your best to create a situation to where you simply can do all the system trades all the time in the same way, one entry, one exit, and a stop loss, regardless. And that's just too much. That's too much mental pressure. Like, no, we're not going to, that is ridiculous. People care about this month, this quarter, the Sharpe. I have to care about it. But that really is the road less traveled, the narrow path. And it's not going to be very acceptable to most people, but it's shocking, really, or not, maybe not so shocking, that I think there's really no difference between bad clients and bad traders. I don't blame it on the clients exclusively, because the traders love the situation that they're in. They love it. They don't want to change. The doors of hell are locked from the inside. They don't want to come out. They're totally fine with vol control, vol management. Personally, they're fine. If a client came to them and said, I tell you what, I see what you're doing. I understand what you're doing. I understand what Jerry is saying. I've come to this conclusion. Don't worry about volatility for me. Don't worry about it. I want a program and a managed account that just follow the trends. They'd say, no, no, no. We blamed it on you. Clients care about it. You got to do it. You can't ignore it. But no, ultimately, you called us, you got us. No, we're going to do it because we love it. We love it. We told people it was your fault, but no, we love it. We got to do it. We embrace it because they got stuck. You and I are really fortunate in that we came to trend following, and it was easy for us to do trend following alone because we had nothing else. So many come to trend following with so much else that they can't get rid of. Moritz number one's partner is Moritz number two, and he has a lot of degrees and he's a math guy and computer guy, and he's very well educated and has all this, but it's rare to find someone like him who will put trend following robustness and less complication at the center and embrace it. The rest of them, it's almost impossible. They haven't been able to do it.
Well, I think that's another good observation there, and I think a recurring common theme is after '08, I didn't have anywhere to go. Or '09 really. It's when I got when I got laid off from JP Morgan after Bear was absorbed by them, and I was 24. I was 24, and at that point, it was like good, because I already knew what I was going to do. I was going to go this trend following route, and I wanted to be my own boss and all that. But I think, when you're comfortable, you got a cushy job and spot. You don't have that fire there. You don't have that. I'm going to make my own path. I'm going to go my own way. I gotta make this happen and do something unique. That's unique to me. This is what I'm doing. This is not. And I think even though you came out of the Turtle program before that, though, you were working, but you were not. You had angst in you. Like, this isn't it. Yeah, I'm working. I'm an accountant in Virginia. Yeah. But this isn't it. This isn't the answer. This isn't going to be me. Uh, You're still looking for something more, something else that you weren't passionate about. Accounting, say. You needed to answer that ad. You had to, and you had to carry it around with you for weeks on end and get it right. You know, and I think those are great spots to start from. Not, all right, I'm going to work 20 years in a very cushy job, and if this works out, great. Well, if it doesn't, it's no big deal. I'm still rich or something. I'm fine. I can always go back into this. That I don't think is going to carry you deep. That's not going to make Tom Brady Tom Brady. He was the third and fourth quarterback on the depth chart for years, and he didn't know if he had his job at halftime in college. So he always had that. I got to fight for my job. I got to show people. I got to show myself. And I think those are very easier. Those are easier, and those are more. You have more motivation, or less and less fat in your way of getting to where you want to go.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
so yeah, kudos to
has,
Moritz for going into trend following the Robert Frost, the less traveled path. It's good to have you, and I hope you can stick it out.
Oh yeah, those guys are solid.
Yeah,
They're totally solid. They got two two solid guys working together. That's a real huge edge in trading, to keep yourself out of trouble and to have someone to lean on like that. They're in really good shape.
All right. Well, I feel the conversation dying down, coming into a soft landing here. Um, anything else you want to say, or just kick it before we kick it off next week? Wrap up today, kick it off next week.
No, it's been a good one. I would just say let's keep it going, and
Yep.
people enjoy it. And this is good. This is good technology, and maybe we can research how to do some of this live video on Twitter, on Space, on the X platform. We looked at it this week in the coffee shop.
Yes.
I don't know how that works, but I love the video thing. We need to get video onto Twitter. I think that's to be a part of that broadcasting thing that looks kind of like Spaces, but it's not. And thank you for helping me set up my iPhone so I could access
Yeah.
that. But maybe we can start doing. I don't know. I guess we could possibly, and do something live. I guess that's kind of live. What I really like is interaction.
Yeah.
Yesterday
Yeah. We
on
could do.
this.
Yeah. We could do some live, and we could do some Q&A.
Yeah, yesterday on this podcast that's coming out, like I said, it was like 10 people asking me questions. It was a big screen of people. Maybe it was like 5 people asking me questions, but they would allow people to submit questions live, and they allowed people, a select group of people could come up on stage in this Zoom thing, and you would see them at the bottom too. So regular Joe was asking me questions, and there he was asking me the question, along with all the professionals who were. And so that was really fun, and to see people's eyes and ask me questions. And it was a lot of friendly type of questions. But yeah, I think that this whole podcast thing needs to expand. And the video thing that Spotify has and that we have, that's huge. I think makes it so much better. And maybe Spaces and Twitter as well. I have to leverage my 28,000 followers
Yes.
and let them see more of me.
Yes.
I may need you to take over that Spaces when I travel next time. Richard and Moritz took over and co-hosted while I was in France for 2 weeks. You
Oh.
should consider that.
Okay. Well, it's Friday mornings. What time? 7?
Yeah.
It's
Too
usually the
much?
crux of my
Oh
working
yeah.
time.
You actually
But
have work to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mornings, yeah, say like 6 to 8. Um, but I can, I can squeeze it in and and figure out, just quarterback the conversation and say some controversial things and let other people talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good one. It's a good back
I mean, I
episode.
mean, I enjoyed it. You enjoyed it. What else is there? The other people. Okay, I bet they enjoyed it too. Oleg enjoyed it. I'll bet. So, yeah, it's really good. Let's do it again. And I wish you the best weekend. And I wish Preston the best of luck with his ailment. And I know he'll be better. But have a good weekend. Rest up, and we'll get back at it Monday and next Friday as well. Hopefully.
Yes, we will.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Talk next week.
Bye.
Bye.